Good morning. I am so glad to be here with you, and I am so excited about today. So, I am excited to have this set. It's an online exclusive, and I had to wait. It was out of stock. I think it was just so popular that it was out of stock, and I finally was able to order it, and I just checked and it's still available. So this is called Rolling Waves, and I did get an ink pad on it, and I hate that, but you know, it is what it is. So it is designed to be a seaside or a seashell type set, but the first time I saw it, it was not used that way, and I loved what I saw. But it does have all of the elements that you need. This is the stamp set, and it has shells, seashells. The sentiments are, "You're in my thoughts," "Thank you," "Hoping your day is perfect," "Happy birthday," and "Bon voyage." And then it's got the seashells, and it's got some wavy background and some more wave background. This is the stamp set. Now, I'm going to show you what I have done, and I saw this from one of the demonstrators. I don't remember who. I wish I did. But I've started doing these new stamp sets and dies. You know, they come in the plastic folders, and the die comes separately from the stamp set, but I wanted them to be together because I don't like having to flip through everything to find the die that goes with the stamp set, and it might not be together because I might use the stamp set and something else, and then it gets all out of whack. So I have started putting the die and the stamp set together in the same folder, and I love that. I love when I pull out Rolling Waves, I'm going to get the stamp set and the die set. I put the die, of course, behind the stamp set. I want the stamp set to show, and then the die set is behind it, facing the other way, so that when I pull up my folder, I can see the stamp set and the die set. So I'm going to show you another thing I learned to do with the stamp set, and this has saved me I'm sorry, so much time looking for stamps to figure out, because I use stamps from all different sets. This has helped me to locate which set a stamp goes with, especially the sentiments. So I do this on the heavier plastic side. You know, you've got your stamps come with a heavy set and a lighter paper, lighter plastic. So on the heavier side, I just go around with my marker. I go around every stamp so that without much trouble at all, I can see that this one is not in here and this one is not in here. And I actually have those on blocks to use today, but it makes it really easy also to get them back in place again. So I have really enjoyed that, and I may go back as time permits and do that with all of them. But for now, I'm doing it with the new ones that come in. So these are the stamps that go with Rolling Waves. But what really sold me on this set were the dies. These are the dies. And you've got these 3 pieces plus the background piece that by themselves are just fantastic. And I'll show you what I mean. You've also got the shells. There, you can use them by themselves. All those are shells. Or you can stamp and die cut them. This and this, these are umbrellas, and this is to use it as your beach set. And this is a palm leaf. So let me show you the die that we're going to be using today. We're going to be using this one. And it is such a versatile die. So versatile. So I'm going to take it out. And I don't think we're going to be using any others of these today, although I have used them. And then I'm going to put my die set back with my stamp set, back to back, and put it back in my folder so that I have them all together. All right, now that I've shown you rolling waves, let me show you some of the sets, some of the cards that I have done with the rolling wave set. That one, and that one, and that one, and this one. This one is actually the way it was intended, with waves splashing in and the shells being washed up by the waves. But this was what I wanted the set for. Look at that. Just a point of interest. I love that. I love that. This one the same way. I actually used 3 of the dies for this one, just to see what it would look like with 3 different colors, and a flower from one of the older sets, and happy birthday. It's from one of the current stamp sets. This one, so you've got that die cut piece sticking out. When you open it up, it becomes very evident. Isn't that fabulous? I love it. I love it. And this is one of the stamps that is actually the bottom. You know, it's the sand. And I don't think, well, I'll get that in a minute. Then this is the one I did, like I showed you a minute ago. This is the one I did that is the actual seaside. And it makes a beautiful card. Beautiful card. This is vellum. I used this piece here with the vellum. And then I used one of the other dies for this, and some of the seashell dies. All right. Those are the 4 cards that I made using rolling waves. Now, I'm going to get one of the stamps out that I don't think I got out. It was this stamp right here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Put this back in. Now, we are going to make this card together. Yeah, we're going to make this card together. It's using an older out of my stash, using up our stash, you know. This bird is out of perched in a tree. I just love that bird, and I actually did not get him out. So I need to do that, get that bird out, and get the die cut out. Got that. And I see another stamp out of the Rolling Waves that I didn't get out. It is the maybe that was in Perched in a Tree. It is. Sorry. Perched in a Tree. Get all the stamps out that I need. It's the dots, the splatter. And it's that one. Nope, that's the die. There it is. It's this splatter stamp. All right, so we've got these stamps that we need to put on a block. So let me get, I'm only going to use a small amount of this one, so I'm not concerned that it goes off the block. And then this one is going to fit just right on that. And then this one is going to fit on the smaller one. Now we're ready to go. I'll set these aside for right now. And we've got our dies. I've got the happy birthday and the stamp for inside. The hoping your day is perfect. All right. Are we ready? If you're watching this live, be sure and let me know. Let me know that you're watching with us. I love to know who's watching the Facebook Live. I know that a lot of you watch the YouTube, but it's not live, so I love to know that you're watching the Facebook. All right, so this is a fun fold card, but it's an easy one. Let me give you the pieces. We're going to start with the base, and it's 7 1/4 by 5 1/2, and you score it at 3. So I've already cut it and scored it, and I'm going to fold it in and use my bone folder. Okay, get that ready to go. Then the next piece I'm going to show you is the other crumb cake. This is crumb cake, and this is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4, scored at 1. So I've already scored it, and I'm going to bone fold that as well. All right. So we've got that piece. We've got our 2 crumb cake pieces. And the next thing we're going to do is put this piece on. And it is 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. 2 3/4 by 5 1/4, and it's going to go right there. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and get that on. So we'll have that ready to go. I need my, there. I need my silicone to get this going. It just needs a little bit of help to get it going. Okay. we're going to put this 2 3/4 by 5 1/4 piece on there. And next we're going to use, the bigger. This is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. Nope, we're not ready for that one yet because we need this 4 by 5 1/4, but we need to put this piece on. So we're going to go ahead and do that. That's 4 by 5 1/4. And we're just going to snug this right up against it. And it's okay if it's inside just a little bit. So let me that silicone mat is a lifesaver for me. All right. We've got this ready to go, but we are going to snug this up under it. So put that right there. And I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on the inside. Yeah, I'll wait and do it on the outside here in a minute. All right, we're going to get that on the inside. Just like that. Just snug up against it. And it really doesn't matter if it's right in the middle, but let me see if I can get it in the middle. Yeah, there we go. I'm doing that wrong. All right. We've got that ready to go, and I'm going to turn it over and put some adhesive right here. Now we're ready to put this on, and we're going to put it closer to the edge. All right. Here we go. Now it's ready to fold over like this. And I'm going to give it another good bone fold. There we go. There we are. All right. And now we're ready to put this 3 7/8 by 5 1/8 piece. 3 7. You want to make sure if you have directional paper that you get it going the right way. Okay. We're going to put that right on top, and I left just the tiniest little edge. So there we go. Now, I think we're ready to do our die cutting. So we're going to die cut this piece, and I just grabbed a scrap that I thought would fit. And it does. Yeah. You know what? This is for the bird. Nope. Okay. Just going to use this. That was the Rolling Waves die. And we're going to get it just like that. I'm going to leave a little bit on each end. And I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss because it'll work for this. Okay. Make sure I've got both ends cutting. All right, here we go. Okay. We'll bring this back over in a minute when we do the bird. All right, we've got this piece. Okay. Get my scissors and cut right across. Well, let's see. Cut this first. We'll get that out later. I'll use my take a pick tool and get that out in a bit. So here's our piece. I see one little spot that didn't come out. Most of the others came out. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get this off because we are going to use it again in a minute. Put it in my trash. Okay. All right. Now we're going to put this over here. It's going to go this way, but I don't need all of it. So I am going to cut with my trimmer. I'm just going to cut a little off. Yeah. You know, it's just, you just guess at it. You make sure it's even at the top. Okay, there we go. You could save this and use it for something else. All right, and we're going to use our tape runner and go right down this. And probably we need to get our Tombow, which I have in a and I always have to work with it to get it going. There we go. Just put a few dots. And I want it right up against the edge. And we'll move it down a little bit. It's going to be, there we go. All right. Now, we're going to work with our bird. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp the bird. And I'm going to do that with Secret Seed. Yep. Okay. Great. I'll also do my sentiments with Secrecy. And now we're going to color the bird. And I don't remember exactly what colors I used on this bird. I know I used crumb cake. This is crumb cake. Dark and light crumb cake. And then I used a couple of my flesh colors. This is SU 700 and SU 600, and I don't think those are available anymore, but I tell you what, I have used those. All right. I think I'll color the top part with the lighter one. And I'm going to accent with one of the darker colors here in a minute. Color around the eye and around the beak. And I'll come on down on the wing. And we'll see. Let me try the dark crumb cake. Yeah. You know, you can, these stamps are really good to give you some shadow lines. And I really appreciate that. So I don't have to figure out where the shadow goes. Okay. Now I'm going to go over that again with the light crumb cake. And just kind of blend it in. These Stampin' blends are designed for that. They do a beautiful job. Okay. It's going to look different from this. I think I'm going to try the SU 700. I know that's not what I used here, but it's going to work no matter what. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to do it with the light crumb cake. We'll see what that does. It really doesn't show up. So we'll go to the dark crumb cake. And that'll really tie it in with the rest of the bird. Isn't nature wonderful? How the colors in nature just complement each other, and they're just beautiful. They're just beautiful. Okay, we're going to blend these colors together. Now let's see what this SU 600 does down here. Yeah, I must have used the SU 600 on this one. And just as we've done on the others, we'll come back and use the dark crumb cake and blend over it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Dark crumb cake and the bullet point. And I like to come along the edges. To me, that just gives it some more depth. And then right along down here. Just going to give it some depth. And then we'll come back with this color and blend it all in. Oh yeah. Gives it that shadowed look. And we'll use the light crumb cake for the feet. And looks like I might have used the dark crumb cake for the beak and the eye. For the beak and the eye. All right, I think we're ready. We're ready to, yeah, I didn't color right under there, did I? That was the, yeah. I don't think I did. There we go. All right, we're going to get the die for this bird. And die cut him. Get our plates. Number 1. And our number 2. Put our die down, and let me grab one of my pieces of tape. That should get it. Okay. Okay, beautiful, 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 beautiful. I'll set that aside. I'm going to go ahead and put my die in here. I don't want to take a chance of losing it. Oh, you know what? I think that went on this one. Yeah. Now we're ready to prepare this piece right here. This is 3 by 4. And we're going to stamp on this one. So the first thing we're going to do is get our crumb cake ink and get that ground. And to do that, we're going to use from the Rolling Waves, we're going to use this. And we're going to go here. And then we're going to do it again, because I don't want it to look like a wave. And fill in. And fill in down here. And maybe in this just a little bit. Make it look like ground. There we go. All right. We'll put that over there. We'll clean it later. And I also wanted to use my Secret C and just put some, just for interest, put a little bit here, a little bit up here, and a little up here. All right, because our sentiment is going to go right there. Now I'm going to get one of my rags. I could use the chamois, but I had it in a case, and this was easier to get to. All right. All right, I think we're ready to put that on our piece here. So let's do that. Here we go. We're ready to put this on. And then we're going to put our bird on with dimensionals. That bird with dimensionals. Get him standing there. There we go. All right. And we're going to use our sentiment. Happy birthday. And we have another piece that's a scrap. Use our Secret C. You know, I'm going to give it a wipe with my chamois. Because okay, do it again. Happy birthday. And on our inside piece, we're going to cut it out of this. We're going to put our Hoping Your Day is Perfect. There we go. Let's do this one first. And I'm going to need to cut a little bit off the top. There we go. And as long as we have this over here, let's go ahead and get this one cut out. You know, first we're going to cut the bottom. Needs to have another little bit cut off the bottom there. All right. Hoping Your Day is Perfect, and then we're going to cut the top. Almost. There we go. Hoping Your Day is Perfect. Now we're going to trim the ends of these. And I like doing it this way. I like that. And this one, the same way. A little bit of consistency there. All right, we're ready. Happy birthday with dimensionals on the front. Right here. Make sure it's straight. There we go. Happy birthday. And inside, hope your day is perfect. I may have to use mint. Oh, I can't use that inside. So we'll use our Tombow glue and get that down. Right there. Perfect. And on the front, we need to put our 2 3/4 by 5 1/4. We could have done that a while ago. Make sure it's facing the right direction. Pull this one this way a little bit. There. There we go. Happy birthday. All right. So we have the die cut. I actually cut it a little bit shorter than I should have, but that's okay. We can see it on both sides. And then when you open up, you have it perfectly. That's our 3D, our fun fold card. We've got our beach card. We have another happy birthday. They're all pretty much happy birthdays. And then may the Lord bless you and keep you. All right. I hope you were able to get the dimensions down, the measurements for the fun fold card. It's an easy card to make. Easy to make. All right, I hope you've enjoyed Rolling Waves. I love it. I just think it's so versatile. So many ways to use it. And the beach cards are beautiful. If you're a beach person, I mean, there's so many ways you can use those waves. And the seashells are just, they're really gorgeous. And it cuts so many. I just cut, I think one thing, I could have put so many shells on this. I could have put so many. If you live on Sanibel Island or you're going to Sanibel Island, that's what you'll find is all of these shells along Sanibel Island. So, all right. Well, I hope you have a really blessed day. And we'll be back on our regular schedule now. I will be doing a demo, having a Facebook Live on the second week, the second Thursday in June, which will be, I'm looking it up, the 11th, June 11th. So join me on June 11th, and thank you for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. I'd love it if you give me a like or leave a comment. That helps my rating so much. All right. God bless.